Welcome to my channel Daily Bulletin News. Julie meets Doug's grandson, and Belle and Shawn make a decision about their marriage. At the Horton house, Jennifer, Lucas and Sierra tell Marie about the time capsule they opened. They go to show her the necklace but find it's missing. They are puzzled, and Marie says they would have noticed if someone broke in to steal it. Lucas suggests whoever took it may not have needed to break in. They think back and recall Stephen was here when they found it. Marie says it wouldn't be a shock if he stole it, as Stephen left town years ago because he was mixed up with stolen diamonds. Lucas thinks they should find Stephen, and Sierra says she'll go with him. Jennifer recalls Stephen mentioned he was going to see Grandma and Grandpa's plaque, so they head out. Jennifer and Marie sit down, and Jennifer hopes Lucas has jumped to the wrong conclusion. Marie isn't so sure and thinks history is repeating itself. Jennifer worries about how heartbroken Julie will be when she discovers the truth about her brother, who she believes in. In Horton Square, Stephen talks to the plaque of his grandparents, saying the old him would have stolen that necklace, but he's a changed man. At a nearby table, Leo, drink in hand, says, to quote Dolly Parton, who I worship, "If you don't like the road you are traveling down, find a new one." He apologizes for eavesdropping, saying it's an old habit as he used to make a living as a gossip columnist. Stephen asks who he is, and Leo introduces himself. Stephen does the same and joins Leo for a drink. Leo assumes he must be a Horton, and Stephen says he is, and Julie is his sister. Leo notes she's a lovely woman, even though she doesn't like him much, but neither does much of Salem. Stephen finds Leo personable and charming, and Leo says the same and considers him a new friend, as he's desperate for some. Stephen agrees, and they toast to new friends. Leo asks how long it's been since he's been in Salem and why he left. Stephen says it's been a while, and he was forced to leave Salem because he got involved in some shady dealings, including running drugs out of Julie's antique shop. He was also involved in fencing stolen jewels. He's not proud of his past and is ashamed of the man he was. He insists he's put his life of crime behind him. Stephen looks at the drink menu to shake things up and suggests they try the drink Javi ordered the other week. Leo passes and gives him a rundown of his failed and brief relationship with Javi. Suddenly, Sierra and Lucas show up, and Lucas demands to know where the diamonds are. Stephen asks what he's talking about. Lucas says he's talking about the diamond necklace from the time capsule, which is now missing. Stephen is aghast that they think he stole it. Lucas tells Stephen that Aunt Marie told them about his history, and now he's here with Leo, who stole Abigail's jewelry, which he tried to fence. Leo says he doesn't even know this guy, and is everyone in this town cousins? Lucas tells Stephen they know he has the necklace, so just admit it and hand it over. Stephen insists he didn't take the necklace, but it belonged to his grandmother, so he has a right to it more than they do. Stephen states he's leaving. Before he goes, he tells Leo to look up his son, Spencer Olsen, who is also gay, should he want to get back out in the dating scene. Stephen then storms off. Sierra asks Leo if Stephen said anything about the necklace. Leo says he didn't, and he just met the guy. However, he likes him, and tells Lucas and Sierra it's possible he is innocent. He also says they have no right to judge anyone, as Lucas kidnapped his own wife and Sierra's married to a serial killer. At John and Marlena's, Belle is surprised when Shawn knocks on the door. She invites him in and explains that Claire was sick and couldn't make it to the funeral, so she stepped in so he could have family there. Shawn is glad she came. They sit down, and he thanks her for coming all this way. She says she wanted to be there for him. Shawn says that now that they are in the same place, they should discuss their marriage. They both agree it's time to make a decision. Belle knows he's been dealing with the guilt over his dad's coma. Shawn updates her that his dad squeezed his mom's hand, which is why she didn't make the funeral. Belle prays he wakes up, and if he does, asks if that means Shawn can get over his guilt. Shawn says they don't know if his dad will recover fully, but he's working on his guilt in therapy and knows what happened was a terrible mistake. Shawn feels even if he can get past this guilt, he still won't be the man he was, the man she fell in love with. Shawn suggests it may be time for them to end their marriage. Shawn feels he doesn't deserve her, but she says that isn't true. He says it's how he feels and runs down everything that happened with Talia, Jan, and EJ over the past year. He says the closeness and trust they shared hasn't been there for a long time. Belle asks if he doesn't think they can get that back. Shawn asks if she does. Belle knows she still loves him, and he feels the same. Shawn says they'll always be connected through Claire, but it may be time to let go. Belle says she can draw up divorce papers and send them over, but he should have a lawyer look at them. Shawn says he will. Shawn decides to head out, and she tells him to take care of himself before he leaves. They embrace, and he departs. In the cemetery, Julie sits by Doug's grave and cries, not knowing what she does without him. A man appears, and she asks who he is. He explains his name is Doug Williams. Julie is stunned, as Doug Williams is dead. The man says he knows that and says, like Doug, he just got out of jail today to come to Salem and see her. Julie says, next, you will tell me your cellmate was Bill Horton. He says his name was Bill, but not Horton. She says, so you decided to take my dead husband's name? He explains he changed it, as he was born Douglas LeClaire and was named after his father. Julie's mouth falls open. Julie can't believe he's Douglas LeClaire's son. He confirms it and that his father later changed his name to Charles. Charles recently told him that Robert wasn't his father and that he was conceived through artificial insemination by his mother, Rebecca North, and his biological father, Doug Williams. Julie knows the story and realizes he's Doug's grandson. She embraces him. Doug says he just found out about his grandfather and wishes he could have met him, but he's glad to have met her. She asks about his stint in jail. Doug admits he got into trouble on his way to Salem but managed to get here. She assumes he's tired and insists he return to the house with her. Julie returns home with Doug and introduces him to Jennifer and Marie. Marie thinks Julie is cracking up, but she tells him that he's Doug's grandson, the son of Douglas LeClaire, little Dougie. Jennifer has heard this story, and Julia says Doug came home to pay respects to his grandfather. Julie can't believe how this day has turned out. First, they found the time capsule, and now, Doug's grandson has come home. She wants to show the capsule to Doug, but Jennifer says they've put it away for safekeeping. Julie tells Doug she'll make up the guest room for him. Marie tells Julie that she has a plane to catch, so she must be going. They promise to video chat to stay in touch better, and Julie runs off to make up the bedroom. Doug asks about this time capsule, and they tell him about the missing necklace and how upset Julie would be to learn it was missing as her mother gave it to her grandmother. Marie is hoping they get it back before Julie realizes it's gone. Marie decides to call a cab so she doesn't miss her plane, but Jennifer insists she drive her to the airport. They head out. Through the window, Steven sneaks back into the guest room, and Julie catches him. She asks if he can't come through the door. He says he didn't want to make a scene as it's time for him to leave. She tells him he can't leave now, but he insists he must. However, he promises he'll be back and tells her again how sorry he is about Doug. Steven says he loves her and to take care of herself. She says she loves him too and wishes him Godspeed. Steven asks her not to believe everything she hears about him, and he'll be in touch. He departs through the window. Back in the living room, Doug looks at the photos on the mantel, including one of Alice. He then pulls the diamond necklace out of his pocket. Stay tuned and subscribe the channel.